Got you, Chris.
Got you, Chris.
It looks good. What you got there? Some ice cream?
No, man, that's a snow cone. That's an icy.
Oh, nice. That's good.
All right, y'all. The time is now 6 o'clock. We're ready to begin the regular board meeting for the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Sherford.
Christopher Smith. Here.
Jerry
Jerry LeBeau. Here.
Dallas
Smith.
Here.
Rhonda Connors.
Here.
Rhonda's
here. Madam Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, we have before us minutes for our regular board meeting from April the 6th and a special meeting from April the 16th. We had a chance to review those minutes. Have a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if I'm looking at old minutes or new minutes.
Floyd, you're echoing really bad. I would either mute your computer audio or I'll mute your cell phone audio.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, much
Yes.
Y'all
better.
hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Kay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Joni, did you make the correction on the minute for number 1?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay, I'm good, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, we have a motion to approve those minutes.
Make a motion.
I so move if they're ready to approve.
Second.
All right, Mr. Shresters and Mr. Smith has approved to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Both of them.
All right, listen, we're gonna go back because I know why I'm stuttering now. Let me get one of y'all to open up with an invocation, please.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who. Mr. Smith?
Father God, we come tonight, first giving all honor, glory, and praise to you. Father God, we thank you for this day. We ask for your divine protection during this time period of the virus, oh Father God. Father God, we just give all glory, honor, and praise to you. We ask that you conduct the meeting, Father God. Help us to do what is good, what is right for the city of Port Arthur. We ask it all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
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 All right, Mr. Baptiste, you have any presentations or communications?
No, sir.
Okay, let's move to our first agenda item. To discuss for possible consideration approving covenants and restrictions for the PAEDC Highway 73 Business Park. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. At the last board meeting, we discussed about putting together some covenants and restrictions. Man, I don't know what's going on. Covenants and restrictions for the 73 Business Park. I got a draft in there. I think Kate was going to add some language to it. Kate, have you added the language that you was going to add to this thing, or take out what you wanted to take out, or whatever?
I had not sent it to Joni yet, but what I would just request the board to do is just approve pending legal counsel review, and then we'll finalize it and go ahead and file it with Jefferson County to have on record.
Okay, Kate, do you mind maybe explain a little bit to the other board members what changes you want to make to?
Right. So the covenants and restrictions that you all have in front of you, those are the covenants and restrictions that are on the Highway 93 Business Park and the Jade Avenue Business Park. They're very good, very comprehensive. However, some of the provisions in there won't necessarily apply to the Highway 73 business park. So what we were proposing to do was just to take out some of the provisions that most likely would not apply. Such as, and to go into it, such as there's provisions regarding like what kind of plants you can plant. There are provisions on signage. There are just some provisions that I think are a little overbroad for what this business park was. And my understanding from the board last time was just that you all did not want this to become or look like a junkyard. You just wanted it to look proper, etc. So I felt that these were a little extensive, but you know, it really is the pleasure of the board. If you all want all of your business parks to have the same exact covenants, we can. That was just my suggestion. So,
Any questions?
Yes. What's so different from this business park compared to the other business park that we have?
this business park, it's the location's different. It's a lot smaller. It's just you might have different tenants that would be interested in this business park, and it's just a little bit different. But again, if you all think that the broad covenants and restrictions that you have on your others would apply here as well, that's fine. That's the pleasure of the board.
Any other questions? May I have a motion, please?
Kate, let me ask you this, Kate. So you're asking the board to approve this upon the legal, the attorney's going back and reviewing this thing and making the necessary changes. I think, Crystal, this was one of the deals we talked about getting to the council. I think one of the items on the agenda today is approving a lease agreement with a potential tenant leasing. Can we move forward with the lease agreement without the covenants and restriction in place?
Well, what the lease agreement does right now is it just says that the tenant has to comply with the covenants and restrictions on file. But if you want to not have to have the covenants and restrictions finalized, all we have to do is have another paragraph in the lease purchase agreement that says you have to keep it well maintained. You cannot, have it looking like a junkyard. You have to keep up with the codes, etc. Because the thing is until this is on file, you can't really force them to comply with it.
Well, my suggestion, Chairman, Commissioners, is you guys approve this as is. Let us file this thing, and if we have to amend it when the attorney have it over, we just come back and amend it and refile it. Would that work, Kate?
I wouldn't do that necessarily. If y'all want the same covenants and restrictions, then just approve what's in front of you. I don't want y'all to have to pay 2 filing fees. It will take a while to get it recorded just because we have to file it with the county clerk, etc. But I was just concerned that it might be more difficult, but just go ahead and approve them if that's what you all want to do.
And again, my concern is if this board move forward with the lease of the land, and within the lease agreement, it talks about covenants and restrictions as a missing component. So my recommendation is to approve what we have in front of us, and if the attorney wished to amend this, then we could amend it and change it based upon the changes that the attorney is recommending.
Okay, but Kate just said if we approve this and file it. When we come back, we'll have to pay another filing fee. I understand that. Now, I think my question is, with the restrictions, I think I heard Kate said that it takes a while for those to even appear because they have to go to the county. Is that correct?
It's directly across the street. They stamp, we take it, once the council approved this thing, Commissioner, we take it across to the sub-county courthouse and they file it, they stamp it. Once they stamp it, it's filed.
My last question about it, with these covenant and restrictions, are they too strict for that business park based on our potential tenant?
I don't think so.
That's all I need to know. Any other questions?
So what you're saying is that you're gonna go ahead now and submit it without any restrictions.
You're gonna submit it with.
I just don't. It's across from the library. It's off the highway.
No, Dallas. We're saying that we're going to file the restrictions and covenants that are in front of you right now, which are very restrictive, the same ones that apply to your other business park. That's what we're going to file.
Okay.
And that's what they'll have to abide by.
And Mr. Smith, we're going to come back to you guys with the necessary changes that the attorney going to recommend, and all we're going to do is amend what we currently have, if you guys agree to those changes. But again, as I said, you know, on your agenda is to approve a lease agreement, and within that lease agreement, it alludes to the covenants and restriction, and I think we need to have something in place to not, you know, I just think we need to have something in place. And we can't amend this thing, Kate, you know, because I think it's about 5 cents a page or $1 a page. It's not a lot of money.
So what is the motion again? Darryl, what is the motion again? I think I lost context. For the motion.
We're just looking at approving the current covenant and restrictions that's in our packet right now without any amendment. That's what's on the floor right now.
Okay, and Kate, your recommendation was to do that or do something different?
Mr. Smith, my recommendation is to prove it as is. And if there is some changes, then we can come back to you at your next board meeting with the necessary changes that the attorney will recommend, and we just amend this. But we'll have something in place.
I got you. Thank you.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
I move that we pass the approve the covenant.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Sharifas and second by Mrs. Connors that we approve the covenant and restrictions for the Highway 73 Business Park. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, to discuss for possible consideration of approving a lease to own agreement with Meathead Trucking LLC for the property located at the Highway 73 Business Park. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to yield to Kate. Kate draft the attorney draft the agreement. And Kate, you want to talk about the agreement?
So this is a lease purchase agreement in front of you all for the lease of the property, the Highway 73 Business Park. It says it's going to be for a 5-year term, $900 a month. The penalty for not paying the rent on or the lease payment on time is 10% of the lease payment. It provides in there that they will have an option to purchase, which begins 6 months prior to the termination of the lease, which would be sometime in 2035, just 6 months from the time that it would terminate. The agreed on price in there for if they do decide to purchase it is going to be the appraised value of the property at the time of purchase. Floyd was, recommended doing that, which I thought was a good idea because the property could go up in value. So we didn't want to have to speculate as to what it would be in the future. So pretty much that's how it goes. It does have in there that they have to follow by the covenants and restrictions, which will be attached as an exhibit. And 50% of their lease payments will go towards the purchase price or down payment of the property. And then lastly, they do have to pay, I believe it says $1,000 for the right to have the option to purchase. So that would be something that we would collect at the time the lease is signed, so that option is provided in there. It does have in there that the EDC for the term of the lease cannot sell the property or try to sell the property, etc. And if somebody approached the EDC to purchase the property, you would have to disclose that to Meathead Trucking and give them, the right to exercise their option.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Do
how
we know
long-
what the appraised value is right now?
I have to turn Floyd, do you know?
We had that thing, it was difficult to get it, we had about $700,000-800,000. The problem we had with that particular property, when we had it appraised 2 years ago, we didn't have any comparable to compare it to. We did have Ms. Holmes, who was on this board and it was a realtor. She and a team of people came up with about $800,000.
Kate, how long do they have to act on this lease purchase agreement? I know they got a 5-year lease, but how long?
They have 6 months to exercise their option. And the 6 months starts. So if they don't exercise their option and the lease terminates, then they can't do anything. They have to exercise their option at least 6 months prior to the lease terminating. Now, after 1 year, if they wanted to go ahead and purchase the property, I don't think anything prevents them from doing that. They could do that as long as they paid that $1,000 to exercise their option.
Yes. So they could wait until 6 months before the lease. They have that they want to purchase.
Right. Yeah. I put it in there that they have to exercise the option at least 6 months prior to termination, because I did not want us to get to the end of the lease term and then them be able to hold it and prohibit us from selling it or leasing it to somebody else. So if they don't exercise it prior to, then once the termination date and they've never exercised their option, then they forfeited it.
Got it.
Any other questions?
Kate, there's one question I have, Kate. You said something about $1,000. Am I correct?
Right. So there should be, I want to say it was $1,000, or I might have.
It's under option. It's under 3.
Yeah, it's $1,000. So they have to pay some sort of consideration to have the option. That's very customary. And so, yeah, so in order for
saying that was us.
No, they have to pay the option.
I'm good on that. Yes, ma'am.
Good deal. Good deal.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
I'll move. So move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Sharabas and second by, I don't know who that is.
Christopher Smith.
Mr. Smith, thank you so much. That we approve the lease agreement with Meathead Trucking LLC for the property located at Highway 73 Business Park. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
Motion. We have one opposed?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Smith. Let the record reflect that Mr. Smith opposed. Motion carries. Item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration amending the PAEDC Downtown Payment Assistance Program for the rehab of 3 existing homes located in the downtown target area. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Madam Chair, Mr. Chairman, sorry about that, Cal. Mr. Chairman,
I'm fine with myself.
in your package, is the guidelines, the policy that we have put together for the downtown payment assistance program. Ms. Ballou, Vivian Ballou, who is our project manager for that particular project, have an opportunity to purchase some existing homes within that targeted area and rehab. And she have come to us and asked if this is not a new home, this is an existing home, but she's willing to purchase the home and rehab these homes and bring them up to standard. The only concern that we had was because the rules does allow us to do rehab. When we originally went into this, we said the value of the home had to be at least $135,000, and they would receive up to $30,000 toward the down payment assistance. The board verbally agreed that they wanted the minimum square footage of the home to be at least 1,400 square feet. Well, some of these existing homes does not meet either one of those. It's not 1,400 square feet. It's not appraised at $135,000. So if you look at the rear, the little chart I came up with, I put together, it talks about the down payment appraisal value at $135,000, square footage $1,400. The maximum down payment assistance they could get is $30,000. What I did, I looked at what it costs per square foot. I took 1,400 and divided into 30,000, and it gave me the cost per square footage. And then I look at the appraised value, which was 135,000, and I divided that and say what it costs per square foot. And if you look at it, if the property is $1,350, the maximum they could get in down payment assistance goes down to $28,928. And it's just a formula that's in there that's reducing it based upon the square footage of the property. That's our first filter, square footage. The second filter would be the appraised value. These houses will not be appraised at what we currently have because they are smaller homes. Most of the retrofitting going to be on the inside of that building to make it more modern and more livable for people to buy. I did ask Miss Ballou. I don't know if she's on the call. Miss Ballou? No, she's not there.
She might be muted.
This is what I have for you guys to consider if you wish to move forward with this. Now, I did speak to Miss Ballou today.
Floyd, I'm here.
Okay, there she is. Did you hear what I had to say to the board, Miss Ballou?
Yes, I did.
Did I say anything in error?
No, you're correct. We think that being able to purchase and renovate some of the existing properties will help to add to the community. You know, we're building next door to some homes that haven't been renovated in years or maybe even dilapidated. So to be able to purchase a property, renovate it, and then sell it to, you know, a qualified buyer would help to finish out the project. We are basically, we have about 12 houses to finish phase 1 to do. And phase 2, we've basically run out of land. So to be able to complete, you know, the next phase, purchasing existing homes would be helpful to helping us achieve the goals of the program.
Anyone have any questions?
I got questions. Mr. Baptiste said about the square footage. How are you gonna meet the square footage on some of those?
When they come to us with closing, when we get copies of the settlement statement, within the settlement statement, that's how we determine how much money they get. And in that settlement statement, it talks about the value of the house and the square footage of the house.
Yeah, the existing houses are much smaller than what we're currently building. So based on.
So under the contract, the minimum square footage is supposed to be 1,400, correct?
That's under new construction.
Okay, what does it say for rehab?
We did not, I guess, write anything about the size of an existing house. So there's currently, you know, there's some brick homes that are available. There's some wood frame homes that are available, but the cost of a wood frame home to even just buy and tear down would be too much. So there's, you know, it's just a matter of if there's an existing brick house, we would just go in, renovate the inside, do anything that needs to be repaired on the outside to make it meet code. So the insides of these homes would be the same as what we're putting in our new construction homes. But we would not be changing or tearing down a brick home to renovate it, to expand on it.
So to meet code as far as plumbing and wiring, how would that work? Because you may have to rewire the whole house.
Correct. When we finish the existing home, it will look like one of our new homes on the inside. And if we have to do things like we paint the outside, the fascia, garage doors, those types of things to make the outside look nice, we will do that also. But we plan to fully renovate these homes. So if you walk inside of them, you will not know that it's an existing house.
So these renovated homes, do they have garages?
Yes. The ones that I've looked at so far have garages.
What do you think you will be able to get the value of the home up to? Do you think it'll reach 100,000?
Well, it depends on what we have to do on the inside. You know, some of the homes I've had a chance to look at, well, we probably have to go in and basically gut the inside. So we're probably looking at about $40,000 worth of work, maybe. Maybe purchasing at 65, 70, depends on, you know, on the house. So we could get up to about 110 maybe on some of them, but there's some wood frame homes that we would go in, purchase, and, you know, bring them up, or, you know, some of them don't need to be torn down, the wood, but we would take care of, you know, painting them, doing siding, or whatever we need to do on the exterior to maintain the character of the home. But so those homes might appraise for, let's say 80, 90, you know, $90,000. So what we were thinking, a sliding scale based on either the size of the house or the price of the house would be helpful, because those homes would not be selling for, right now, our last home that we built over there sold for $212,000. So, you know, we know that the existing homes won't have that same sales price.
So don't the appraised value works like if you have brick homes in that neighborhood, and if you have a wood frame home, how would that work as far as the appraised value?
No, they don't compare new construction against existing homes. So they would have to find a renovated, comparable home, existing home within a 3-mile radius, the last sale within the last 6 months to compare it to. So they won't be using one of our new homes to compare to a renovated home.
Vivian,
like
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Currently, how many rehabilitated homes are there in that area that we can use for appraisal purposes?
Well, I was offered to look at 3, but there's more. I haven't reached out to them because I didn't know what the rules would be. So I didn't want to start talking to people and not have permission or know what the policies would be, to be able to explain to them. So there are additional homes there that could be purchased. There's one that needs to be torn down. So we could tear it down and build a new one. So I know that there's one on 5th Street that needs to be torn down. It's actually red tagged. So, just trying to, I didn't want to approach people. I was approached by someone to purchase their home because they were ready to move. So that's how this came about.
So this agreement is basically just concerning 3 houses, right?
Well, that's 3 at this point, but there are others that really need to be addressed in the neighborhood to complete the project.
Right. Mr. Sharfus, so whenever those policies and procedures were originally adopted by the board, if you notice in it, it only talks about new construction. And so it was when Guy and Floyd were talking about this, we both agreed that the board needed to amend the policies and procedures. And as a part of that, we were going to present to you to approve what Floyd put in there regarding how much assistance you would do. And so if you all approve the policies and procedures that are in front of you, it would be used not only for these 3 homes, but any home in the future that Vivian might and her team find a highlight to be rehabilitated.
And I'd like to explain that we're not using EDC funds to buy or renovate. So we're using legacy funds to purchase the property, renovate it, and then your funds would be used to help buy down or provide down payment assistance to someone purchasing a house. So your funds do not go towards any kind of acquisition or renovation.
Okay, so the part about renovating the homes and buying existing homes, that sounds pretty decent. My question is, somewhere in this policy it says that the lowest loan amount that we would give would be $15,000. I worked Mr. Batista's formula out, so I figured out how much it is per square foot and all of that stuff just earlier. But what happens when we get to these smaller homes? Are we still going to stick to that flat bottom number at $15,000?
Well, and it's all based on all of it's up to.
It's up to the minimum. What the policy says, Commissioner, is the minimum we're going to go is 15. The maximum is 30,000.
That's correct.
I think what both with Kate and Ms. Ballou is saying, when I originally spoke to Ms. Ballou, it was about 3 homes, but if you guys have written in that neighborhood, there are several of these homes that if we could purchase and rehab, it would certainly enhance that neighborhood. So if you guys would like to go with this, I would, Kate, I think you said any existing rehab of any existing
Well, I think that what he's referring to, the 15,000, is that we're talking about the lien period. So if we have a loan, if you give someone anything up to 15,000, it's a 5-year lien. Of 15,000 and above is a 10-year lien. So that's the only caps that we have in there, is at what point do you place a lien and for how long?
That was my question. I was speaking more to using that formula. As those properties get smaller, that number is going to decrease.
Correct.
I'm just asking, is when we get to that $15,000 mark, is that just going to be the bottom no matter the size of the home at that point in time, or how are we going to address that, or do we even need to address that? That's my question.
The 15,000 only comes into play on determining how long the lien will be on the property. When we provide this down payment assistance, there's a lien placed on the property for the EDC's funding that says if we give you $14,000, you will have a 5-year lien. If we give you 25,000, you'll have a 10-year lien. So that's just determining how long the lien would be on the property.
If you look at type of assistance on page 3, Commissioner, on page 6.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yes.
Okay, it says a loan in the amount of up to 15,000 require a 5-year lien. A loan in the amount above 15,000, but less than 30 will require 10-year lien. That's where the 15 come in.
Gotcha. So it can be less than 15.
Oh yes, if someone only needed 5,000 to close, that's all we would use.
That was my question. Anyone else have questions?
Yes, it's Jerry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, are you working with HUD on any of these homes?
No, sir. The only time HUD comes into play is if the city is participating, but none of these are owned by HUD or have any association with HUD.
Okay.
Any other questions?
The only other question I have is, are these 2-bedrooms or 3-bedroom homes, or?
Well, the ones that I've looked at were 3 bedrooms. There may be, 2-bedroom ones there.
Because I know they're harder to sell if you just have a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, we usually stay away from 2-bedroom unless we have some older people, I say older, that want to purchase homes that may not require 3. So if we found an existing home that was a 2-bedroom, that might be something attractive to them, but normally we build 3-bedroom and above.
Okay.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to amend the motion. Kate, you said something about taking the 3 out and because we don't want to limit ourselves just to those, because there are the homes within that targeted area that Ms. Ballou may be able to purchase, and we could provide a down payment assistance to eligible buyers. I think what we want to do is take that 3 out of there, out of the motion.
I would just make a motion to amend the policies and procedures to include newly constructed to do down payment assistance for newly constructed homes and the rehabilitation of homes in the target area. And also to approve, I think it's an attachment or that exhibit on the back that shows Floyd's calculation on how much the down payment assistance will be based on the appraised value of the home.
I think that's a good motion.
May I have a motion?
think a motion, Commissioner, is to approve the down payment assistance for new and existing rehab, existing homes based upon, the chart, that we have attached. Is that right, Kate?
Right, yes, that's correct.
May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
And I second it.
Been moved by Mr. Dallas Smith and second by Mr. Christopher Smith, that we approve amending the PAEDC down payment assistance program to include new homes and the purchase of existing structures, including the attachment for the maximum values that they can receive. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration approving a letter of intent from La Boquita, Inc.
Yes, sir. In your package, you guys receive a letter of intent, from, La Quita. Am I saying that right? Anyway, it is an expansion. It looks like based upon their application, when I look at the NAISC code, it does meet the economic development guideline as a manufacturer. They will be expanding their manufacturing facility by adding 14 additional Port Arthur residents. It looks like the average wage of those folks will probably be about $12 an hour, 12, 13, 12. I haven't figured it out, but about $12 an hour, 14 Port Arthur residents. They are requesting, I do have some concerns with this one, based upon the project cost and the source of funds. It talks about building and renovation, and my understanding is that they are going to be leasing space.
Leasing.
I have not talked to the client, and until you guys give me direction to move forward, I need to find out where this $740,000 going to be placed at, since they're leasing the space. I certainly understand the equipment and the furniture, but I have some questions about the $740. But it is an eligible project if you guys want to move forward with it.
And remember, it's just a letter of intent. We're not approving
Yes, sir.
anything at this point, just a letter of intent. Any questions? May I have a motion?
I got a question.
Go right
you said
ahead.
that they're asking for 740,000.
No.
250.
Okay. Said no, but anyhow.
Mr. Smith, the 740,000 is what they've listed on their cost that goes towards the building and renovation. But they're not requesting that of the EDC. They would be injecting those funds. Our question would be what the renovations would consist of to justify those costs. They're only requesting 250,000 from the EDC.
Yeah, we have not had any discussion with them to know exactly what is that cost.
Okay, and they're leasing?
So, until you guys allow us to move forward, once we move forward, we will know about the cost.
Yes, they're leasing.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
I motion to move.
I'll second it.
All right. Been moved by Ms. Connors and second by Mr. Sharif that we approve the letter of intent for La Vaquita Inc. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, to discuss with possible consideration approving an economic development conditional grant agreement with Mike's Enterprise Inc. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, Crystal, I don't have that agreement in my package.
Okay, so this agreement was actually came before you all last board meeting. You all approved the terms and conditions of the agreement as well as the amount. And in your packet, you should have the actual agreement that Kate has prepared for us. And I do want to point out, Kate, in that first paragraph under executive summary, it states 913 square foot retail center. And we just have to fix that to be 13,000 square foot. But throughout the rest of it, it does say 13,000 square foot. So this is the actual agreement that's before you all. It is for the 13,000 square foot retail center on Jimmy Johnson Boulevard. And our incentive towards their infrastructure cost would be $169,100.80.
I had a question about this one. It seems like every document that I've seen before this one said 3300 Jimmy Johnson and not Mike's Enterprises. And I was trying to see, did we receive that letter of intent back in March? Because I went back to the April meeting and it still said the 3300 Jimmy Johnson, just for clarity for me.
So they never, whenever they applied, whenever I was working on the incentive agreement, the representatives were similar. And so when Crystal reached out to them about what entity we'd actually be entering into the contract with and who would be building the building, they confirmed that it was Mike's Enterprises.
So initially that information wasn't disclosed.
Crystal or Floyd, it was this.
Well, they hadn't really, it wasn't that it wasn't disclosed. We just hadn't established the actual entity we were entering into the agreement with. The project, we were just calling it 3300 Jimmy Johnson Boulevard.
But you knew it was Mike's Enterprise?
We knew it would be the same entity as the one that we entered into previously. The only thing is sometimes, and Kate might be able to explain this better, you know, whenever they do these projects, they'll use a different entity name. So that's just part of the process. We verify the entity name, and that kind of comes closer to the agreement preparation.
3300 Jimmy Johnson.
So what she's saying, Commissioner?
Well, they never represented that 3300 Jimmy Johnson was a legal entity.
Right.
That was just the location of the project. It was always Mr. Toomey who was going to be the one that put this forward. And these same individuals have been involved in 2 other projects that were different. And so, like Crystal said, even with Walk-On's Bistro, Mr. Valet, he had 2 different entities, legal entities as well. And we had to confirm which one we would be entering into the agreement with, because that's just who we had to make sure we were giving the money properly too. So this does happen, and that's why it's my job. I always double check on the Secretary of State website to make sure it's a proper legal entity that has the authority to do business in Texas. Sometimes they don't. That was our issue with Mr. Valet, but he's rectified that. So Mike's Enterprises, they can do business in Texas. They're, you know, legal here, and that's who the incentive agreement is with, if you all approve what's in front of you this evening.
Yeah, I guess I was just wondering because I just hadn't seen the name. I understood that it wasn't going to be 3,300 Jimmy Johnson, but I don't remember seeing the name. And
Daryl, this is Joni. I pulled up the documents. We voted on that in the March 2nd meeting.
That was March.
And his letter of intent was non-consent item number 1 during that meeting. The memo is from Mr. Michael Reff, and he mentions the property address is 3300 Jimmy Johnson, and he signs it Michael Reff, president of Reff Enterprises. So he did disclose it was Michael Reff that was seeking this.
Okay.
That's the same one on Tijuanitas, and then the one next to it, Tijuanitas.
Correct.
Yeah.
Phase 3 of that area.
So we're funding another strip mall for them. Do they have tenants for this one? Do y'all know?
They are working on tenants on this one. Now that they have not disclosed because they haven't confirmed their actual lease agreements yet, but they do have some tenants in the works.
Any other questions? May I have a motion? May I have a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion since nobody else will, that we approve Mike's business plan.
May I have a second?
I second.
I second it.
All right. So it's been moved by Mr. Sharafis and second by Mr. LeBeau that we approve the economic development conditional grant agreement with Mike's Enterprises, Inc. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Baptiste, do we have any reports tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna let staff, Renata, you gonna tell them what you've been doing the last couple of weeks?
You're muted, Renata.
Can't hear you.
Okay, good evening. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys know, last year, we awarded 5 scholarships to some seniors that actually attended school in the Port Arthur, Texas area. I've been working on that for several weeks, talking with different counselors, trying to get scholarship applications filled out. And actually on Thursday, Ms. Kathleen Fondo, she actually delivered some applications to my home, and we had a total of 12 scholarship applications turned in. Out of the 12, only 11 qualified. One was a PNG, Port Neches Groves resident. And today I actually sent out, the committee consists of Mr. Darrell Anderson, Mr. Dallas Smith, and Ms. Rhonda Connor. And today I sent out an email with information enclosed on where we're going and how we're going to move forward. And so I think on Friday, May 8th, we're pretty much going to have everything turned in at noon. And we will, from all the information I sent out, hopefully on the next call, the next board meeting, we can actually announce the 5 scholarship recipients. My goal is to actually reach out once we've decided on the students that have been chosen. My plans are to actually reach out to either the counselor or the student, myself, and actually send them some type of token as far as like just a certificate in the mail, just letting them know that they were awarded the scholarship from the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. Also, I've been working on our YEP, which is our youth employment program. We actually have had 30 applications turned in. Of course, you know, we can only choose 20. Out of the 28, we'll go with Robogistics, and I think Mr. Baptiste and Crystal, they've been in contact with Robogistics, and I know that they are in the process of trying to conduct some sort of interview. Of course, you know, with the COVID-19 and everything going on, things are a little bit different, but we're getting that sorted out. As of right now, I've also been in contact with Motiva, Clara Jackson. It's pending right now. She's thinking about taking 3 students. AV Health is thinking about taking 5. Talk with Lamar State College, Port Arthur, they want 1. Williams CCC, she wants 2, which I actually had 4 marketing applications, and she wants 2 of the marketing applications. And this evening, matter of fact, this evening, I had an attorney that reached out to me, and she would like to take 1. So pretty much looks like as of right now, if everything pulls through, we will be able to place all 20 students this year. So real happy about that. And that's pretty much everything that I've been working on. I will tell you that going back to the scholarship applications, they were due on last Thursday, and the YEP applications, the deadline is May 15th for that. Any questions?
I think Renata, have you spoke to the subcommittee? You sent all the stuff out today, right?
Yes, sir. And I've actually.
All that. Is that
yes,
right,
sir.
Renata?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the. Crystal, you want to talk about what's going on with your clients?
So I'll give just a quick update. Team Fabricators, they are one of our most recent recipients for an incentive. They are expanding their location off of Main Avenue and Proctor Extension, and they have actually requested their reimbursement already, as they've already started the work out there. So they've been paid their incentive, and now it will just go into contract monitoring as far as payroll for Port Arthur residents and making sure they're staying on track with their milestones according to their incentive. We do have, I just want to point out, we do have, we've had quite a little bit of an issue out at the business park with one of our tenants. Just in case anybody has gone out there, we do have a tenant who is in the middle of trying to expand their location. Phoenix Industrial, they are an environmental tank cleaning company. And at the moment, they are trying to expand their location and maybe coming to us here in the near future to acquire some land adjacent to theirs. They are at the moment having to park some of those tanks that they've been cleaning on the road next to them. It is causing a little bit of a hazard, so we do have a plan in place to make sure that those tanks are removed in a timely manner, while still making sure that they're able to continue their operations so that their business isn't hurt at the same time. So just to give you all an update as to that, and that we do have a plan in place and to have those tanks removed in a timely manner. Other than that, a quick update as far as the building at 501 Proctor. The second floor renovation is near completion. There's just a couple of things they're putting up, such as door signs. They just need to have the fire marshal come out, walk through it, and go ahead for a certificate of occupation. So that's near done. We did update the access security system to the building. That has been completed, and hopefully we won't have as many glitches as we were having in the past with the security access system. Also, our newest tenant that signed the lease, the Greater Port Arthur Minority Chamber of Commerce, they are actually moving their lease back to July 1st, so they won't be moving in May 1st as we had thought before. They won't be moving in until July 1st now, but they will be moving into one office on the 3rd floor. And that is all I have for you today.
Thank you. Any questions for Crystal?
Rachel? Is Rachel in? Yes, Rachel, not in. Let me give y'all the financials, man. Looking at the financials, if you look at this year's budget, I did send you guys a report. We're 7 months in the year, and so we're about 58% of our money should be spent. I think we're doing real good in budgeting our money. When you guys look at what I sent to you guys, I don't know on y'all sheet if they have a percentage on the far left hand corner, but that is the amount of money that y'all have remaining. So I think we're doing real good, very well on most accounts. I think the thing that I wanted to share with you guys is the sales tax revenue. What I did, we are currently in 2019 year, and everybody know because of the situation that we're in, we had projected more revenue. We had projected about 3,716,000 in revenue. I think because there's going to be some slowing sales tax, you're going to get about $3.6 million. You know, and what I did, all this is on an average, plus or minus, but I think you're going to get less money this year than you expected because of what's going on with this global economy. Then when we look at 2020, if you look at we should get $4.4 million, you know, but then after this year, next year, because your street and maintenance tax go away, I'm projecting that your revenue is going to go up to about $6.5 million. So I think financially, you guys are in real good shape. You know, I don't foresee any big issues financially for you guys. The other thing, George and I been working on the budget for next year, and we feel that beginning in October, with this additional money that we're going to get, because you won't be giving any money to the city. I'm going to come back to you guys and actually put $1 million more into that to the Port Arthur News building to complete it. Remember when we approved this thing, we had some box space that was not completed. We think that if you guys approve us, give us an additional $1 million, we'll be able to finish out that building. The other thing we've been looking at is cost to operate in that building. We think with the $1 million, the first year about $1.6 million. And that's with the furniture and the electricity and the water. So we budgeting about we're going to be budget, in addition to 501, we're going to be budgeting an additional about $1.7 million for the Port Arthur News building that should open up in the second quarter of next year. You know, Port Arthur News building, they're doing real well. A lot of work going on. We may have to come to, I don't know. We may be coming back to you guys with some additional remediation. They removed that was the elevator, right, George? Yeah, the elevator, and they found some sludge down there. So I have been in touch with the remediation folks. They will be here tomorrow to see what's going on down there. So it may be a little bit more remediation. A lot of the I guess we call it the east side of the building near the police station. That's going to be a brand new building there. The rest of that building is going to be remodeled, but they remove all the wood out of there and they started on the framing work in there. Going pretty good. Going pretty good. There is, I guess you guys all know that we have named the building the press building. We did find, both Crystal and George found a picture of the actual print press back in 19 what year was that?
1956.
What year, George?
1956.
1956, the actual press. So we have been looking to blow this thing up, and when you walk in that building, you're going to see the actual press, Portuguese press with the papers coming out the press. It's amazing, guys. You know, so there's a lot of work going on there. Anything else I missed, George?
No, that's about it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me, guys. Any questions? I did submit our budget to financial for review. It's going to be coming to you guys at your next board meeting. I was hoping that you guys was going to get it today. You know, we have to turn in our budget to the city I'm being told in June, but I'm going to ask them for July. I will have a final budget, a budget to submit to you guys for approval at your next board meeting. I am working on it now.
Okay. Are we going into executive session?
Yes.
Crystal, you're going to tell them what we have to do?
Yes. So you all should have received an email after this meeting started. So what's going to happen is you'll have to get off of the Zoom meeting. It will keep playing, but you'll just have to log off of the Zoom meeting and then call the conference number that was emailed to you. And then once the executive session is over, just log back into the Zoom meeting using the same meeting ID that was sent to you before.
But Crystal, can we, it's not going to be a Zoom?
No, it will not. It'll just be a plain conference call.
Okay.
Kate,
Yeah.
can I yield? I'm just going to tell them about what's going on with the with these staff attendance. Do I need to go into executive session because I'm going to be naming people?
That's up to you, Mr. Batiste. It's posted as going into executive session, so you know we can with the governor's order, you can just get off this and go to another number because that's the only way you can do executive session, but it's really the pleasure of the president and you.
My concern, Kate, is we do have some outsiders on this line, and I'll be talking about staff people.
Right, then we can go just use that other number that Crystal circulated.
Okay, so Crystal, they're gonna call in the number here at the office, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess if you guys follow Kate, Crystal direction and call in to the number here, I will dial the number so that you guys can call in. Okay?
We got to X out of this.
Yeah, I have to read this little statement right quick.
Okay.
A closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of the Chapter 551 Government Code, Section 71, Section 72, Section 74, and Section 87. We'll go into executive session at this time.
If anyone did not get the email, just let me know and I can tell you the number.
Judy.
Everyone should be back on now.
Need me to call the roll again?
Please do.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Anderson,
Here.
Mr. Sherpers,
Here.
Mr. Christopher Smith, Jerry LeBeau,
Here.
Dallas Smith, Ms. Rhonda.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, would there being no action items coming out of executive session? You don't have any other comments you need to make, Mr. Baptiste? Kate?
I have no more comments,
I
sir.
don't have any more comments.
All right. Well, we look for that all favored motion to adjourn.
So move.
I second.
All right, it's been moved and second that we adjourn this meeting. Good to see y'all. Hopefully next time we'll be able to meet in person.
Yeah.
Y'all stay safe.
Amen.
Till next time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Turn this thing off.